Hi everyone, welcome to the District Stitcher number 12. I have quite a lot to discuss today, excited to get in it. If you are new here, this is a channel about the hobby of cross-stitch. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment. I love talking to people. The entire reason I started this was to get to know everybody in the community on YouTube, so please do feel free to comment. So without further ado, because I have a lot to get into, let's get started. So I had to make myself a list this time because I have several things. So we'll start off with finishes. I don't have any final finishes, but I do have one of the Mill Hill kits that I showed you I had started on last time, which was the bacon and eggs. I love it so much. It's so cute. Look. Let me see if I can get it to focus on it. There we go. It's just, I'm going to kind of angle this so you can see where all the beads are. I mean, I think everybody who watches Flosstube or stitches knows that it's really hard to show Mill Hills on video because you just don't, or in photo, you don't get the dimension and the sparkle of the beads in person. I can kind of move it around there. That might kind of show you where all the beads are. But I love it. This and some of the other kits that I've been stitching up come with a little magnet on the back to make them like fridge magnets or filing cabinet magnets. Last year I stitched a taco for my husband because it's his favorite food group. So yeah, I think these will be really fun. All I'm going to do is just trim around and then put some felt on the back to protect the stitches on the back from getting caught on stuff, and then glue the magnets on and just, use them as stocking stuffers and gifts. I think it'll be really fun. So there's that. Apologize if my camera's picking up any noise. It is absolutely laundry day here. It's just the piles of laundry I had to start getting through. So, but I needed to film today, and we're just going to have to suffer through any laundry beeping in the background. Alright, next up, I have new starts. I didn't need any new starts, but one of them I enabled myself on because I've been wanting to stitch it for forever. And the other one I blame Lala D Stitches for, because she showed the pattern, and then I had to have it, because that's how Flosstube works. So, let me know if any of these enable you. I feel like I'm just completing the circle of life for Flosstube. So the new starts I have are, where did it go? Oh, oops, I put it in the wrong file. Okay. The Victorian Christmas Lady by Joan Elliott. I adore this one. Joan Elliott's really fun to stitch. It's very much like Mirabilia or Lavender and Lace, big fancy ladies, or Bella Filipina. She's always in that sort of range. She also does really cool Santa Clauses, like big ornate type Santa Clauses, which I might stitch one of these years. But I like the colors in the Victorian lady. And I wanted a fabric. I originally was looking for like a dark green, like a hunter green or something like that, because that just makes me, as I think I said last week, it makes me think Victorian, because there was a whole craze with, or like a bright acid green, because there was a whole craze with this wallpaper that had arsenic in it. It was a thing. Pro tip, don't put arsenic in your wallpaper. It ended up being a bad idea. But the color was a very vivid sort of, what's that? Absinthe. Like that drink that everybody, that absinthe green kind of thing. And I thought that would be nice. I ended up going with a more neutral, but the neutral does have a little bit of green to it. So I'm stitching this on, hold on, I get the sticker. It is 32 count vellum, Belfast linen, and it's from Picture This Plus. I have a lot of their stuff. I don't know why. I just tend to like their colors, I guess. This is not in a frame right now. Also looks slightly alarming because I'm in the middle of stitching her face, so the thread's like coming out of her eyeball. So apologies for that. But I just stitched a little bit of the face so far. And I'm doing backstitch on the face as I go because I find if I don't stitch a little bit of the face, then let me hold it up here so I don't. I find if I don't stitch a little bit of the backstitch on the face, then I have this all featureless face, and it like weirds me out as I'm stitching. So, don't have haunted stitches. So this is a start on a Christmas lady, and you can kind of see, you know, the texture to the linen here is sort of a greenish gray. So I think that'll be really nice, because then it won't be swallowing up any of the thread colors, but it'll still give it some personality, which is what I was looking to do. So I think that'll be very nice. All right, the one I blame Lala D Stitches for is Shannon Christine Designs Sugarplum Village. I've been meaning to stitch a Shannon Christine pattern for a while. I always like them when I see them online, and I just hadn't gotten to it yet. We all have that list. It's like if you're a reader, you have the to be read list, the stack, and it's just you're gonna get to it. You want to get to it. But it's just on the stack. So, but I don't know what it is about this one. I just needed to have it. It's just so cute, and I adore it. So this is Shannon Christine Designs, hold it in front of my face, it'll focus, Sugarplum Village. The pattern calls for, hold it a little better there. The pattern calls for Vintage Country Mocha, and I think it looks really nice on the Vintage Country Mocha. I had just been stitching some other stuff on Vintage Country Mocha, like my monthly stitches, and so I'm a little tired of it. It's a really, it's a great fabric that is just all-purpose, right? Like, because it's a printed fabric, it has, one side has the texture, the other side is not textured, so you can flip it around, so it's very versatile. And it's just a great fabric to have in your stash. It's nice to stitch on, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I got, and because it's Sugarplum Village, I wanted to stitch it on like a plummy reddish purple, and have that really make the light stitches pop. So I have a start. So here's the fabric I chose is, again, kept the sticker, 32 count Exotic Orchid Lugana. Pretty sure it's Picture This Plus. That looks like a Picture This Plus sticker. So here is the start. As you can see, the brown that's called for, so it has a DMC white thread. Hold this up there. So it has a DMC white thread, and the rest of it is Weeks Dye Works. So I think the brownish color is called Bright Leaves, like meant to be sort of a fall color. The plum doesn't swallow it, but it's not going to stand out as much as the other colors. The other colors will. I don't know where my bag is for it, or I would pull it out and show you the other floss colors on it. I did floss drop it on the fabric before I started. And I think just right now, because it's just the brown, it doesn't look that impressive. It'll look really cool, trust me. Trust me, I used to teach art. It's fine. But it has the, once we start getting in the other colors around the brown framework, like the there's supposed to be sort of pine branches. So once we start getting in the green and the other things, it's really gonna it's really going to pop on this fabric. This needle minder, I'll talk about, on that side, this needle minder, I'll talk about in a minute. It was part of my package I got through the Jingle Ball sign-ups. So, but we'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to sidetrack myself. So that's the new start segment. So let's get into the whips that I worked on, and really existing whips. It was honestly only 2 that I worked on, but I made some really good progress. So I am working on Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. If you watch a lot of Flosstube, you've probably seen this around. A lot of people stitching on it. It's just really sweet, and I think the colors... Oh, nope, too much glare. There we go. I think the colors appeal to a lot of people. It's just a really lovely color scheme, and it works with a ton of people's decor. It's just very appealing. You know, that sort of, those honey yellows and browns and teal. It is very classic. It's very pretty. It still feels kind of modern, but again, it goes with a lot of stuff. So I think that there's a wide segment of stitchers that are working on it, which I think that's a hallmark of a really good pattern, right? If it appeals to people who typically have different tastes in what they like to stitch, you get a whole bunch of them with different tastes who are all stitching it. So yeah, this will be, I'm not going to finish it on the paddle. I'm going to finish it, I'm probably just going to get it framed, like in a light teal frame. And then it's going to be a Christmas gift. Hopefully, if I can get it done. Shouldn't be too hard. I've made really good progress. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get it done. It does stitch up fairly quickly. So hopefully it will be a Christmas gift. If not, it will be a birthday gift, for my niece. My niece is in her late 20s. She's got a 5-year-old and, well, almost 5, going on 45, and a new baby on the way, and so I just think it'll be really cute, like in her kitchen or something like that for the family. And here's where I am. I did not take this out of the frame. Sorry, it's kind of a pain to wrangle into this frame with so much fabric, but I am down to, I have stitched, Be Sweet, Hive Rules, Be Sweet Like Honey, Mind Your Own Beeswax. And so I was just working on the back stitch and setting up for the Always Be Humble and Kind motif. So here's kind of side by side. But yeah, I really, get this a little closer here. I really love the colors, and this is a really nice, I forget what this is like. I think it's the called for fabric. I did one of those things where you just like, yeah, send me the fabric and all the floss checkboxes on 1, 2, 3 stitch. 25, 26, I don't know. It's a Lugana, and it's fairly, it feels like it's equivalent to a 14 Canoe. So, you know, the stitches are fairly big, which is really nice after working on smaller projects, or projects on linen, because it just feels like this is a lot easier to stitch. So it kind of gives my eyes a rest in a bit. So that is Hive Rules, and the next one that I worked on, and this one I'm going to finish today because I am very close to finishing it. I'd hoped to finish it this morning before I filmed, but I just had too much stuff to do around the house, so I have not yet finished it, but it is the Prairie Schooler Knock Knock, which I loved. Oh dear, I think I moved. Okay, we're good. Sorry, there's too much stuff on my desk. I bumped my mouse. So yeah, this is Prairie Schooler. I really like the Prairie Schooler. There's something very, you know, they're folk art, but there's something very modern to the way that they do it, I think, in their color choices. So it feels very fresh and very crisp. and I like that a lot. And this is really the first super limited color stitch that I've done. I really liked it. It's been really fun. And I don't remember who the fabric is. So you can see. It's just a natural linen. And I also don't remember the count of the linen. Sorry, I have the window open and there's a dog who's very excited about something. So yeah, here is the progress, and as you can see, I just need to finish the bottom border, and then we're done. Like the bottom border and the ghost and the fourth pumpkin, and that's it. And I can absolutely finish that today, because this is fairly quick to stitch. So, oh dear, there are many dogs. It's like 101 Dalmatians out there. It's like the bark chain. Something's very exciting. So, yeah, this has been really fun to stitch. I absolutely messed up like twice on the house. But you can't tell, and you will never know where, because I will never point it out, and we're just going to live with it, because it looks fine. So, but yeah, I was hoping to get it done by Halloween, but I had so much going on with work prepping for this big event that I didn't, and I can't really stitch on Halloween itself until later. We get hordes of candy-hungry children. Feral hordes of candy-hungry children. I live in the city. I live in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and I live in the neighborhood of Capitol Hill. I am in the Hill East portion of it. So I am, if you look at a map, I am over near where the old RFK football stadium is, that they are at some point going to tear down. Currently, it's a raccoon colony, and I would just like something to be done with it, so we'll see what the city does with it. Whether it goes to the commanders or not, I am indifferent. I just would like the raccoon colony to be evicted at some point. But DC is zoned in kind of a weird way. We have these chunks of very residential neighborhoods, with not a lot of retail or restaurant or business fronts. It's just all residential. And then there'll be like strips of streets that have a bunch of businesses and stuff on them. And so I live in a very residential neighborhood, a lot of houses. This neighborhood is incredibly family, it's almost entirely families. Like there's some young folks and there's some older folks, but there's a large concentration of families. And then also, Capitol Hill is known as the big candy neighborhood, so we get like people come in from other neighborhoods to trick-or-treat in our neighborhood, which I think is really funny. So it's also very fun to sit out and just give out candy, because, kids are creative with their costumes. You also have, everybody gets really into the spirit of it. My neighbor across the street has this whole, skeleton diorama thing. Like, he has a tent where he has his grill and stuff, and so he fills that out with skeletons like they're having a barbecue. And it's just really funny. But the best part of it is that, his, nephews, grandsons, whatever they are, these young guys, will dress up and look like they're one of the statues in the yard, and then they will jump scare people when they go past. And so I just sit outside giving out candy, talking to my neighbor, and watch people scream and run away from the house. It's a highly entertaining time for me. So I adore Halloween. But it's I'm out there until I run out of candy. There's no breaks. There's no... I have to, call in my husband to swap out if I need to use the bathroom or get more water, so we have to go in shifts. So it's a very intense experience, but it's very, very fun. And I love it when, kids have fun and the whole neighborhood's out and it's a whole community. So it's really nice. But that's why I just didn't. It was kind of late by the time I ran out of candy, and I was just too tired to stitch. So I did not. And that's that. But I will get that finished today. I'm very much looking forward to it. So that was finishes, new starts, whips I worked on, plans. Get into plans. So I have several things to finish, to fully finish for Christmas gifts. Just a lot of little smalls. And I know I've showed them before, but I'll just show them again here briefly. I have 2 more Mill Hills that I finished. There's the Canada Goose, which I'm not going to make a Letterkenny reference to this time. It's really hard, though. And then there's Canoeing Bear. I love him. And those are all going to get finished as magnets, I think. I'm looking to where I've stored the magnets. I have custom built shelves that a friend of mine did for me, and the brackets are iron. So I'm storing the magnets on the bracket of the shelf, like the crafty goblin I am. This is a small that came with the British magazine that I subscribe to, and I'm going to, World of Cross Stitch, I think. I'm going to probably finish this as a little magnet, maybe a little cube for my grandniece's desk. I haven't fully decided yet, but I'm going to finish this somehow. I may do a cube. That would be cute. And she could throw it at her baby sister when she gets irritated. That would be fun. For her. Not for my niece. She might throttle her own children. And then this lighthouse I'm going to finish as a bookmark. It's probably going to be part of a package that I mailed to my dad for Christmas. Or it might go to my father-in-law. One of them. Not sure who yet. I have a couple other finishes that I need to get framed for Christmas gifts. Those are bigger finishes, and those are a little more ambitious. So, we'll see how that goes. I will show when I actually manage to finish them, because there's one I have been meaning to finish as a pillow for 10 years. Yeah, because I finished it in 2014. So, some point it'll be done. So those are the things that I need to finish. And I have pulled out a couple of my stitches, which if you have been watching my channel since I started it this year, you will have seen these because I was working on them in January. So one is, and I'll pull these back out and kind of start them up again so I can work on some winter stitches. This one is it is a pattern that was adapted by June Grigg Designs, and it is from a print from an artist called P. Buckley Moss. She was very popular in the 80s and 90s. She was a Virginian artist, and a lot of hers have a sort of Virginia country folk art aesthetic. But they're really beautiful, and this one actually, even though it's Virginia, and she was a Virginian artist, it makes me think of Western Pennsylvania, where I grew up, just because we have a equal number of, in Western Pennsylvania, we have an equal number of sort of, old buildings and houses and stuff from the 1800s. So, this made me think of also the bleak Western Pennsylvania winters. So this is Solitary Skater by P. Buckley Moss. Let me try to get it close here so there we go. Focus in on the design there. So it's really pretty. And this pattern, I believe, is from 1994. This was my husband's grandmother had collected this, but she'd never had an opportunity to stitch it. So my aunt-in-law, is that what you call it? My husband's aunt. She was parceling out some of the patterns that had never been stitched and gave my sister-in-law and I the chance to sort of go through and pick out things that borrow things that we might want to stitch. And so I definitely wanted to stitch this one. And I started it last year in December. And it's on, I'm not going to remember the fabric count now. Whatever Lugana is the equivalent of an 18 count Aida, I think. And it's on Silvery Moon. I do remember that it's on Silvery Moon, which is a fairly common, good, very light gray neutral. And this is the start that I made. Yes, I am a monster who leaves needle in fabric. Let me try to get it so you can see. There we go. So this is the start I made. So the house is done, and it's just stitching the rest of it. All those tans and blues and grays, very winter colors that are in the background, the trees and the skater. But the house is done. So, and this is all DMC. Like this, the snow that's on the roof was a blend. There's a couple that are blends, which is, if you're new to stitching, a blend is one thread of one color and one thread of another color. So you're essentially blending those two colors together as you stitch. So, yeah, it's very pretty. I really like it. And I believe, I know DMC changed their numbering at some point, but I believe that this is actually still fairly accurate in range to it. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, if it starts to look wonky in an area where I'm stitching, I will swap out floss colors, but I think it's going to be fine. The other one that I pulled out that I really need to work on is this stocking for my grandniece, who I mentioned before. She will be 5 in December, and I just want to stitch her. She's the baby of the family. I want to stitch her things. So this is the stocking pattern. If you were here in my earliest videos, you might have heard me complaining about the amount of thread I had to pull through the Ada. So this top part, where the name is half stitch, but it's something crazy. It's like 4 or 5 threads that get pulled through to have this sort of puffy effect. And it looks great, but it is just like, it was like yanking it through the fabric. So, because the dimensions, it comes with the Ada, and the Ada is a nice, pull back so you can see a little better. The Ada is a really nice light blue color. And, so I'm using the Ada, because it's also, the kits come with felt to back the stocking on and everything, so it just comes with everything, so I'm going to use what they provided, to get the sizing right. But, yeah, pulling it through that stiff dimensions Ada was a task. I ended up having to tape with masking tape the top part of the Ada to the top of my stand, my floor stand, just so I could just like hold it with one hand and like pull through the other. So let me show you. This is, let me kind of, there we go. This is where I am. I really need to get a proper light one of these days. There we go. So yeah, this top part, and let me kind of turn it so you can see. You can't really tell, but it's very full, and it was several threads pulled through. But oh, there we go. I can do this, I promise. But yeah, I started to stitch all the presents and stuff that are coming out of the Santa's car there. And I was kind of doing back stitching as I was going. There's no beads or anything that will go on, so that'll be really sweet when it's finished. So I'm excited for that. And speaking of stockings, this is a good segue into haul. So we'll talk about haul, and then I will get into the Jingle Ball. Very little haul, but I wanted to show when I bought the Sugarplum pattern, I also knew, because again, this is for my grandniece, my niece's daughter, who will be 5 in December. And my niece is pregnant with her second, who will be named Lila. So I wanted something that was sort of in the same almost cartoony style. Let me put this over here. So I picked up this kit. So it's a little different, but it's still, they blend. So I think this will be really sweet. So this is for Mia, and this will be for Lila. So I'm excited to get into that. I mean, there's no way I'm going to finish both by Christmas. Like, they would have to be the only things I stitch on, and I am not that capable of monogamous stitching. Monogamy is for marriage. That's your thing. It's not for me. Monogamy is for marriage, not for stitching or crafting. I am too polyamorous with my crafts, if we shall say. So I also continue on with haul before my husband comes out here and goes, what? I bought this kit. It's Riolis. This is just so Christmas to me. It's everything I love about Christmas. It's the sort of, glowing light in the darkness. The dark winter nights, snow, the crispness, the warm glowing lights. So, and this is, it doesn't show the pattern, no. So you can see the thread is, I'm really close enough that you can see, but it's actually a wool blend thread, and I really like that from Riolis. I have a couple other kits, and I haven't started any, but this one I'm going to try to start this year, because I would really like to do that. So, alright, and in plans, things that I would like to get to stitching, but I'm not exactly sure I'm going to actually stitch them this season. We'll see. So, I signed up for the Jingle Ball, and I'm going to pop a little on one of these sides. We'll see in the video when I do editing. I'm going to pop the Jingle Ball sort of logo there. It is a virtual stitching retreat that is put on by Lindy Stitches. And tickets to get into the virtual ballroom, which is sort of the equivalent of a stitching retreat where you go and you sit at tables and talk to people. I have heard. I've not actually been to a stitching retreat, so this is why I wanted to do the virtual one this year, just to chat to people. So it's all on Zoom, or something like Zoom, and it is, like I said, the tickets are just $10 just to get in, chat to people, get access to the virtual shops, the virtual booths that will be open, but there's also a bunch of classes that you can sign up for, and a lot of them are getting full. So I will put in the description below the link to the Jingle Ball. And so if you are interested in any of the classes, I would encourage you to go soon and check it out and see what you want to do. When I was signing up for it, a lot of the classes that I wanted to do, the kits were already sold out. So some of the classes, most of them are finishing classes, and they will, pardon the helicopter there, they fly so low in this neighborhood, and it drives me crazy. Anyway, the classes that have kits, like they send you the fabric and all the materials you need to finish the project. Those are mostly sold out, if they're not all sold out by this point. But you can still, I think there's still several ones that have PDFs. And so I signed up for this because I really wanted to at least have the PDFs, because they were projects that I really liked. And honestly, not all of them I'm going to be stitched in advance and, have them stitched in advance for the class. A lot of it I'm just going to, take notes on how they're finishing it and then, do it at my own pace because I have so much other, holiday stuff going on. So, the one kit I did manage to get is, I'm going to, let's see, put a photo here. It is the Season's Greetings by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I have already parceled out some of the stuff that was in the kit that came. So the needle minder that I pointed out earlier that I said, let's see, oh, over here. This needle minder came with the kit. And I needed a needle minder for the project I was starting, so I just put it on there. And it came with the fabric, which is a Picture This Plus fawn, cashmere linen 28 count. Stick it over here. And then it came with the backing fabric, which I think is so cute. Little finishing fabric for it. I'm assuming that'll probably be the backing fabric. I haven't really fully read through the PDF yet. And then the trim. Get that a little bit closer so it's not so washed out. And pre-cut boards. Pre-cut backing boards, which is nice. So I have to go through and cut my own backing boards. Which is a pain in the butt because my scissors are getting old. Let me go ahead and pop up the picture again. This pattern is in several different colorways, and I am doing the vintage one because I really like it. Even with that light blue, it's not like a Victorian vintage, but it's a vintage. Like it makes me think of mid-century modern, like a 1950s, 1960s greeting card. So that is what I will be doing. The other two classes that I signed up for, I will pop pictures up here now. The Candy Cane Biscornu from Blue Flower. Blue Flower, right? Yes, Blue Flower. And then the other one is the Seasonal Bookmarks by Tiny Modernist. And both of those, I highly doubt I'm actually going to get them stitched. But I've never stitched a Biscornu, and I want to watch someone finish it. And then the Seasonal Bookmarks, I may get the winter one stitched ahead of time. I may not. But again, I just kind of want to see how they finish it. And I love the pattern. I will stitch them. Like, all of this stuff I will stitch. I just don't think I'm going to get it done by in this month in order to have them done by the Jingle Ball. So, the fourth class I signed up for, I don't have a photo for. And that is the, I'm going to forget who does it now. The block parties. Who does the block parties? Well, dang, I completely blanked on it. So next Flosstube, I will talk about that, because I think I should have the pattern by then. Maybe. PDF, no, I won't have the pattern by then, but PDFs are being mailed out on the 22nd for the block party. Again, largely I just want to watch how those are finished, because I think she sent out Janine something. What is? It's on the tip of my tongue. I should have written it down. Anyway, the designer did send out an email that said, you know, you're not expected to have it done. We're just gonna start stitching in class. We can chat about it. And then show how to finish a block party. So, so that'll be fun. So that is the Jingle Ball. With that, I am almost at 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. And I will make some new progress, start some new stuff, hopefully finish a few things, fully finish a few things before the next time we talk. So we will check in next time, and thank you for sticking with me, and I'll let you go and let you get on to the rest of your Flosstube viewing. So have fun and happy stitching. This has been the District Stitcher.